talk about self-empowerment and mindset coaching, transmuting limited survival behavior into something gold, into something tangible that we can create something better with, then we need to look at why we do what we do and how the brain actually functions. So when look, adversity and trials and tribulations and hardship, that's life. That's what we signed up for. They will keep coming. If they don't keep coming, then you've stopped living. I would say that if you're not facing those challenges every single day, then you are living in a very small, predictable, known comfort zone. But expansion and change happens in the unknown. So when things happen, we face some stuff, some tough things go on, but then we get trapped in that moment in time, and all we do is we jump on social media and complain about it, then we catch up with the girlfriends and we complain about it some more and run around and rehearsing this story of why everything's not fair. You don't fix anything, but you get a chemical fix, okay? You get a feeling that's congruent with the thought. And when you get that feeling, it's sort of, you maintain status quo. So this is the why we do what we do. This is why we move into victim behavior. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not blaming or hating on anyone. I still do it myself, and I've been on 13 years of self-development and research into this stuff. But awareness is the muscle. Awareness is the key to catch yourself before you do it. So in the end, you're trying to get love. All of us. We're trying to either give or get love in every interaction that we have. Sometimes we do it in some very distorted ways, though. So let me just explain to you the way the brain is working, okay? So this is you up here, and you're having a good day, or maybe you've been having a bad day. Something's happened. So as you start creating a level of mind, okay, mind in neuroscience is the brain in action. So you create a level of mind, and the brain is producing neurotransmitters. All right, so we've got these electrochemical impulses running around in the brain. But at the exact same time, the brain also releases something else. It releases a neuropeptide. So neurotransmitters for the brain and neuropeptide for the body. So as it releases this neuropeptide, it travels down to the cell in the body. And this is where the cells in our body, so say this negative thought here is, it's just not fair. Whatever it may be. This is the level of mind that we keep, or blame, is judgment. It's victims, it's survival behavior. You've got to understand that who you really are and the true self, the human spirit, is congruent, it's authentic, it's dynamic, it's vulnerable, but it doesn't try and get love from anyone. It can confide and acknowledge pain, feel the emotion, and move powerfully towards your future. That's how I did it. That's how you can do it. But the victim mindset, the survival behavior, is a stereotype. It's learned predictable patterns of behavior that you got from your teachers, from the television, from your family pain, your family stereotype, maybe your girlfriends, your boyfriends, whatever. So this mindset here is, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. So as the brain keeps signaling the body and signaling the body and signaling the body, the cells quite literally have to get some more docking stations, right? So this is like a lock and a key. As the mind as the brain creates that level of mind, releases a neuropeptide, travels down to the body, it's going to dock with the cell wall. And as you keep thinking and creating the same level of mind, victim, victim, blame, blame, it's my ex-husband's fault, ex-husband's fault, ex-husband's fault. You are literally, the body goes, oh, well, you keep sending me these signals. So if we're in business, like we're really in business, I've got to keep putting more receptor sites. These are integral membrane proteins. I'll get into that more in another video, okay? So your cells are plastic, responding to environmental cues. And the cue in the environment right now is just blame. B for blame, okay? It's just blame, 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 blame. Now, again, this signal comes in, either creates or changes a protein, travels down to the nucleus of the cell, and a gene is expressed. It's either upregulated and expressed or downregulated and suppressed. The gene codes for a protein. Proteins are the building blocks of you and me. Okay, so the moving shape of proteins is the expression of life. So this is the mind-body connection. This is exactly how it works with biochemistry. Okay, and then whatever that protein was coded for, it then travels off to that system of the body where it's required. So here we get in this loop. We get in this loop because something's happened. Now the reason we go into this is, as I said, these are learned patterns of behavior. 95% of mental illness is reactionary. That's proven with neuroscience. 95% reactionary, reacting, okay, to your psychological needs and your values not being met. Happens in linear time. Boom, there's no value. You can't dig for no diamonds. And then bang, you're dragging your past for 14 years around you that it's just not fair. Now, that's cool if that's what you want, but if it is to be, like change, if it is to be, then it's up to you and me. You are the problem and you're the solution. Okay? It's us. You want to always ask yourself, what am I doing to contribute to the problem right now? If it's Tom's problem, if it's Tom's fault, you're going to run around like a crazy mad woman trying to change Tom. Bugger that. Bring responsibility back to yourself. That's how we change our lives. No one else is coming to our rescue. Okay? So how do we process the past and how do we break this cycle? Because the more you create this level of mind, there's no value in what happened. It's not fair. There's Hebb's law. Okay, Hebbian learning in neuroscience states that nerves that fire together wire together. Okay, these neurons fire, boom, in time together, they wire together. The brain moves in these oligodendrocytes. So these cells move into the area and they wrap myelin, they wrap insulating protein around the neuron so it can conduct its impulse faster because the brain is following the law of conservation of momentum and energy, is following the path of least resistance. So if here's the brain and here's this little network here it's just not fair, it's just not fair, it's just not fair, it's just not fair. Nerves that fire together wire together. You are strengthening a set of electrical circuits in your brain to make your worldview and your reality, because it creates your reality, to be life's not fair, life's not fair, life's not fair. Then you go out with your mates, you hit the beers, and you rehearse the story and you tell it again, you tell it again. You've been telling it for 5 years now. Now that's not processing pain. That's rehearsing. That's rehearsing a set of electrochemical impulses in the brain to, try and get that feeling, that emotion in the body that's congruent or equal to the level of mind that you keep creating. This is the mind-body connection. It's a mirror. You feel angry, you think angry thoughts. You feel compassion for your brothers and sisters. Your thoughts are compassionate and loving, and they're about expansion and giving and empathy. This is just how it works. Just think about it for yourself. If you feel rage, you drive a thought equal to that emotion in the body, that contracted, distorted emotion in the body, and you think rageful thoughts. Problem is, when you stop sending this signal, okay, I'm going to get a new life, I'm going to get a new life, I'm going to start my new company, write that book I've always thought about, live the dream, those dreams I had when I was a kid. Guess what happens? The body doesn't get the incoming environmental cues anymore for the chemistry of blame. But it's got all these receptor sites because you asked the body to do this. If it is to be, it's up to you and me. All right? We are responsible, always. It's not Tom or whoever that guy was I said. So the cells build up all these receptor sites and they're now screaming for it. This is the same as any other addiction. Any other addiction, okay? You've hardwired your brain and body to look like the mind of suffering. And the brain is following the law of conservation of momentum and energy. Hebb's law says nerves that fire together wire together. So every time you tell it, and every time you jump on social media and you keep doing it and you keep doing it, you are disempowering yourself. Now, that's okay. Live however you want to live, but this is about self-empowerment and change and transformation. I'm a mindset coach. So if you want to empower yourself, we have to break this pattern. You have to break this pattern. Because in the end, you're trying to get your needs met, right? You're trying to get your psychological needs met. You can also get your needs met in a congruent way and express the true self. So all of this here is the survival self. the stereotype. Okay? Now, the fastest way to break this cycle is to bring awareness into it and to allow yourself to feel. Okay? The feeling creates the healing. My mentor 13 years ago told me this. Trapped emotion in the body. You distort and contract the emotion, you can distort your thinking. Always. You distort how you feel, you distort your thoughts. Now you're not congruent anymore. And when you think distorted and you feel distorted emotion, you behave, you act out into the world in destructive, survival, distorted patterns. Okay, so the key to everything is when head, hand, and heart align as one, you say, mountain move, and the mountain will move. That's what I've found to be true. But your thoughts, okay, life is a mind game. Your feelings, your true emotions in your heart, okay, allowing yourself to feel sorrow. So many men I deal with, they cover their grief, turn it into rage and violence. It's not masculine energy, that's distorted masculine energy. Okay? So the vulnerability of allowing yourself to feel that sorrow in your heart, empathy, compassion, creativity, assertiveness, this is the true self. Rage and violence, persecuting others, judgment, blame, hatred, have nothing to do with the true self, what we really are. From a higher point of consciousness I'm talking about, from a spiritual perspective, has nothing to do with our existence. Okay, these are all from the level of form, learnt survival behaviours. So we're now going to start wanting to change this perspective, right? This it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. So when an event happens in linear time, the moment from when that event happens to, say it's a hardship, or you find out your husband's cheating on you, or whatever, there's illness in the family, that moment in time where we go boop, to when you finally return to a balanced state of heart and mind, back to gratitude, back to life, expression, creativity, connection with friends and loved ones, and everything that we were born to manifest, that's called the suppression period, or the refractory period, where you didn't find any value. There was nothing to say thank you for. There was no lesson. There was no way you could be made stronger from it. It's all this mindset is doom and gloom again. Now, I've worked with people that have literally, we're talking 30 or 40 years in that refractory period. Like I said, I'm a mindset coach. I want to return people to that balanced place of state, that balanced state of heart and mind as fast as possible, so they can be expressive, be creative, and connect and live and experience and feel joy, and not run away from the sadness and the tough times as well, but to become stronger because of them. So what we need to be able to do is using this muscle of awareness. Okay, we've got to be able to watch the thinker. This is called metacognition, actually, where you can actually observe your own thoughts. The fastest way to not move into this cycle, remember what I said at the start of the video, the brain follows the law of conservation of momentum and energy. It will follow the path of least resistance. Hebb's law. Hebb's law says nerves that fire together wire together. And over time, as they continue to wire together, they become the strongest neurological connection in the brain. Okay? So what we've got here is a system, hardware, right? Hardware, anatomically set up in your brain to go into this survival state, to go into this pattern. Because if you don't grab the value in it, the brain's just going to follow the law. And the law is follow the path of least resistance. When you are able to not block your emotion, allow yourself to feel. When you feel, you heal. And in Buddhism, they say all suffering is caused by resistance to what is. And I've followed that law for over a decade, and I think that's why I very, very rarely suffer. Suffering is caused by resisting what is. if I need to take action, make change in my life, or whatever needs to take place, then congruently, I'll go out into the world and start expressing that. But like I said, drama, victim mindset, and complaining about how bad things are doesn't help anyone. It doesn't solve the problem, but what it does is it actually gives us our chemical fix. The cell gets the neuropeptide that it was looking for, and then the body switches on those hormonal centers, and you feel the emotion congruent and equal to how you were thinking. Okay, so this is the easy way, if you will. This is the predictable pattern of behavior. But by using awareness, by allowing yourself to have the feeling, have the emotion, the true self, like the human spirit, is expressed through the congruent emotions, our emotional power. It is expressed when you feel compassion, love, gratitude, creativity, and assertiveness. Now, assertiveness, I mean when you're coming from a healthy place. You speak your truth and you hold space for someone else to speak theirs as well. Not my way or the highway. That's distorted behavior as well. So that's the true self being expressed. So when something has happened in linear time here, and here it is, it's the wife left me. Boom. I mean, if this was in 1997, and here we are in 2020, then that refractory period is 23 years. And until there is value, until the brain is a value-adding machine, until there is something that you are wiser, stronger, more loving, more compassionate, a better friend, a better father, a better mother, a better sister, daughter, niece, nephew, because of that event in time, that refractory period will continue, and then it will become part of your identity. And you'll move out into the world and rehearse the story of the pain of the past. Well, just imagine if we rehearsed the diamond, the teaching, the wisdom, as often as we rehearse the pain, the why it's a problem about our past. Because that's what I've done with my car accident. I only speak about the wisdom in it. Because a memory without a distorted emotion, that's wisdom. Okay, a memory that you have, that you can access, that doesn't pull you into your pain body without that emotional charge, that's called wisdom. And that's what we're here for, hopefully. Moving from birth to death, right? In linear time, having experiences, hopefully. Falling down, bruising ourselves, picking ourselves up, sharing, creating, giving, loving, helping. That's why we're here. So, to recap, this pattern here is what all survival behavior is locked into. We all do this. We all move in and out of the pain body constantly throughout our day. The trigger is someone cuts you off in your car and you just feel that rage come through here. Okay? This here is what we've always done. This is the known, but this doesn't fix any problems. This drags people we love down. Now, yeah, people will be there for you. People have compassion. We've got to help each other through tough times. But if it's 23 years later, okay, then those tough times are actually getting tougher and they will be affecting other people. And you don't want to be a burden on those around you. Everywhere I go, there I am. If it is to be, it's up to you and me. I'm the problem and I'm the solution. So you ask yourself, what am I doing to contribute to the problem? Bring awareness into it. Just realize that if you resist, the more resistance you bring in, the more suffering. Bang, you're going to go into this mindset. Right? And you're going to trigger the body, and then you get your chemical fix. You feel the way you think. And then the loop, it's the redundancy of this cycle that keeps us separate from what we want in life. But you can break it. You break it by finding the diamond. You find something. Now, yes, we have to, like I said, the emotional power. You've got to move, for many of us, There's not one shoe fits all here, but for many of us, we've got to move from grief to gratitude. People, just be grateful. I'm not saying that. I said initially, you've got to feel if you want to heal. Your emotional power is your vehicle out of this. Okay, that predictable emotion that you keep suppressing, just express it, feel it, embody it, and move on. Okay, so awareness, your emotional power, and acceptance, and finding that diamond. And the faster you find the diamond, the more you shorten the refractory period, and the more your energy is here, today, now. You don't have a time machine. I don't have a time machine either. You can't change the past. Okay? And so when you don't move into that, then the brain starts firing and wiring a different set of neurological signals. Okay? Now, these neural nets, okay, when clusters of neurons fire together, they create networks of neurons, neural nets. And when they work together and they're coherent and they're in balance and they're loving, now it's not fair. Now this is how I beat depression. This is exactly how I cured depression. Now life is a gift. Okay, life is a gift. And that level of mind is one of gratitude and wholeness and love. Okay, and you're embodying this. How? The level of mind, the neurotransmitters for the brain releases at the exact same time the neuropeptide, just signaling the body. And now this cycle is one of wholeness, and it's not blame over here anymore. Now it's thank you. Or yes, I can. I love my life, okay? And these receptors that have moved in are ones connected to the true self, ones connected to wholeness and self-empowerment, and you can do anything that you set your heart and mind to in this place. But you've got to move from survival into creation. That's the mind-body connection. That is based on neuroscience and biochemistry, how your thoughts, choices, actions, beliefs, and emotional states are creating your reality. It's as simple as that. So we've got to break the cycle. And it's fortitude. You've got to have that conviction and that willpower to choose something better for you. If you can't do it for yourself, like I couldn't, 42 kilos, critical head injuries, drowned in my own blood, week in a coma, 69 metal plates in my skull. I did it for my mum. If you can't do it for you, then remove yourself from the subject matter. Do it for somebody else. You got no one? Okay, do it for the next generation. Do it for some kids that are playing at the park. Whatever, find something. You can do it. It's up to you. And then this cycle, the system here is now pro-life. This is empowerment. This is self-empowerment. And in this place, through repetition, over time, okay, you move confidently in the direction of your dreams. Over time, is a brand new you. It's a brand new you. Because this is the neurological, chemical, and genetic death of the old self. And you know that you now start signaling different genes epigenetically in new ways. Okay? Your genetic expression changes. Your brain anatomically changes its structure, remember? Because nerves that fire together wire together. And in time, they'll become the strongest cluster of neurological impulses in your brain. And because the brain's going to follow that law of conservation of momentum and energy, it's going to be easier for you to grab the diamond when hardship comes. It just gets easier and easier and easier because you are what you do repeatedly, and repetition is the mother of skill. So once you practice this, it's like a muscle, and you get better at going, I've got to be there for my brother right now. This is tough. And you pull in, you express the true self, and you're congruent, and you realize life has its challenges, but you grab that diamond and you stay the course. You can stay in this state, in this level of mind, where you're able to express the true self. And this is how we change the world. This is exactly how we change this planet. We do not need the war and the suffering and the hunger and the racism and the separation and the this life matters, that life matters. Life matters. All life is sacred and all life should be protected. But we are trapped in base human emotion. This is the problem. A big part of society is trapped in this unconscious reactionary place. And you can't express the true self in that place because you're back here, you're back here, you're back here. So this is how you change the world. You give love and expect nothing in return. And many, many great spiritual masters that have come before me have said the exact same thing. Give love and expect nothing in return. So that's it for today. If you found this helpful, I'm glad. That's why I do what I do. If someone you know could benefit from this, shoot the video over to them. Let them see a different perspective on this. I am living proof of what we're all capable of. I am an example of what you can do with your life, and then times it by 100, because I haven't even scratched the surface of my own potential, and I know that you can do more than I. So if you could like the video, hit the subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. Sure would like to wake the world up, wouldn't you? Change things for the better. All right, guys. Peace.